Hey, Force Sensitives. I'm Darthan Magnus. Welcome back to my channel and my little workshop. Alright, so for those of you guys that are new, I use the term workshop when I have made a lightsaber modification video. What's a lightsaber modification video? Well, I'm glad you asked. I will tell you the answer. I'm sorry, that joke is just never gonna get old. It's never gonna get old. So basically, I have my arsenal of sabers. As you can see, even on the shelves there, the rack, all that stuff. And what a lightsaber modification video is that I will take these lightsabers and I will take like the emitters or the pommels and put them on different hilts, different blade sizes, you know, just anything that I could really think of. And I love making these videos because it brings out like a certain creativity of mine. I know I've done a few videos, what was it, a couple weeks ago? But relatively recently in the past, trying to make lightsaber pikes and saber staffs and things like that. So I wanted to take it a little bit easier and make a single-bladed lightsaber. But it does come with a backstory, and I will give you guys a summary of the backstory, and I'm still writing it right now, so hopefully by the time I finish this video, or by the time I edit this video, I mean, I will already have his full story developed, and I am going to do something new that I haven't done before and put his story in the description, so that way you guys can read it if you want to while you're watching the video. And yeah, it's just a character of my own creation set in the Star Wars Legends universe. All right, but let's get to the lightsaber before we get to the Jedi that it belongs to. All right, I call this lightsaber the Sun Viper Lightsaber. Okay, so here it is with the blade off. All right, I love this. All right, and this is one of my sabers with sound. So I did a yellow blade, a sentinel yellow blade for that sun, for the Sun Viper name. And then as you can see, these claws act as the Viper part of the name. Okay. Shut this off real quick. Now, oh yeah, before I forget, just imagine these Viper claws just coming in. You do like a rear pommel hook to the face, all right? And it just, you get fish hooked, and your whole face is like missing and stuff like that, and it's all gory. So you're just like, oh man, I geek out way too much over this stuff. But I thought it was a cool thing to put on there. It's not the first time I've actually put something like this on the end of a lightsaber. But let's get into the lightsaber itself. I'm going to break it down, starting from the bottom, and then we'll work our way up to the top, okay? So first things first, as you can see, this pommel is not actually a pommel, all right? It's actually the emitter that belongs to the Dark Warglaive lightsaber, okay? I decided that since I can't remove the emitter on this lightsaber, I would try to, you know, have a little bit of creativity with what I put on the end, and regular pommels, they just didn't seem to fit the bill, you know? So I wanted something like this. Originally I had all 4 claws on there, and it was pretty well balanced. Much more well balanced with all 4 claws than just the 2 on the back right now. But I kept thinking, like, yeah, you could do a rear pommel strike to the head, and that's gonna hurt. But, like, you can still do the rear pommel strike to the head with this, and you could do the rear pommel hook to the head. Alright, so, I mean, we're getting double the damage power going on, alright? So that's where my mind was at, okay? And so we're gonna move up to the Dark Apprentice V5 lightsaber. This is the lightsaber I used as the foundation, okay, for this creation of mine. And I told you before, this emitter does not come off. It's not removable, but I do love the windows in there. And I fixed a 32-inch mid-grade blade to this. The balancing point is somewhere in those window emitters. Alright, but this lightsaber belonged to a Jedi Shadow. That's why, one of the reasons why I chose a sentinel yellow blade. And I have a backstory, okay, that I am going to tell you guys a brief summary right now. And I don't have a set sequence to show you guys me messing around with the lightsaber, like a 32 move sequence. But you guys are going to see me mess around with the lightsaber, that I can guarantee you. But I got my notebook right here. I'm going to read off, because obviously I couldn't remember. And it's not too long, so don't worry. But let me cook, alright? Let me cook. So, this lightsaber belonged to Jedi Master Orin Brock, and like I said, I'm going to try and finish the story, and I will leave it in the description so you can read it while you're watching the video if you wanted to. That's my main plan anyways, okay? Hopefully it works out. So yeah, Jedi Master Orin Brock, who was a Jedi Shadow. Now, the timeline for him becoming a Jedi Master, basically they gave him that honorary title after he had passed away. He was a Jedi Knight at the time, but because of his accolades and what he has done for the Jedi Order in the time that he has lived and how he passed away, they gave him the honorary title of Jedi Master when they put him into his grave. But basically, he was born in the year 4,300 years before the Battle of Yavin. Now, BBY, alright, I'm going to use that as an acronym, before the Battle of Yavin. That's Episode 4, Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, okay? So this is 4,300 years before that is when this guy is born, alright? Orin Brock. Now, during that time, the Jedi were not mainly stationed on Coruscant. They were mainly stationed on the planet of Ossus, with their great Jedi library made by Odin Orr, shortly after the Great Hyperspace War, 5,000 years before the Battle of Yavin. So, Orin Brock got to benefit from growing up in that temple and having a great array of knowledge to pull from, which made his training, it made him excel at his training, basically. So yeah, he was raised on Ossus since infancy. He excelled in his training to the point where multiple masters in the main temple began to train him themselves when Orin was only 15 years old. Okay? So at 15, he was having training done by multiple masters, and there's a reason behind this too. Orin quickly learned the mechanics of Form 2 Makashi, which is great if you're fighting against other Force users. For those of you who do not know, Form 2 Makashi was developed around the time of the Second Great Schism, since they were doing lightsaber to lightsaber combat, even though they had proto-sabers at the time. Yeah, that's where the form was invented, okay? So he excelled at that, and then he fused it together with the martial art of Teras Kasi. So he was an extremely well-gifted student of the Force. He was very perceptive to his master's teachings, to the point where he was knighted when he was 27 years old, and he also became a Jedi Shadow around that same exact time. Alright, so after training with those masters for about 22 years, that's when he was knighted, or excuse me, 22 years, 12 years, sorry, 12 years. He was knighted and became a Jedi Shadow around the year of 4,273 BBY. Now, for those of you who do not know what Jedi Shadows are, my best example I can give you from Legends is a woman by the name of Celeste Morn. She shows up also in the some of the Darth Vader comics shortly after he becomes Darth Vader and has the mechanical suit. I'm looking down because I'm trying to remember And then she shows up again in the Legacy comics. She's also in the Legacy comics, and that's like the ending of the Star Wars Legends universe, because they never got to, fully dive any further after that. But yeah, she's an all around, basically from the Mandalorian Wars up until the Legacy era. She's around and stuff like that. But very, very badass. Celeste Morn with a C, that's her name. One of the best Jedi Shadows I could give you guys an example of. But basically, because of the Great Hyperspace War of 5000 BBY, before the Battle of Yavin, that is when the Sith and the Jedi began to interact for the first time for close to 2,000 years. Some sources say, some other sources say that they had some conflicts with them in between that time. I'm just going to stick to that 2,000 year period where they didn't meet up. And the Great Hyperspace War is where Naga Sadow, the Dark Lord of the Sith at the time, invaded the Republic and the Jedi, and they had to band together to defeat them. And so basically, from the end of the Great Hyperspace War all the way till Orin Brock's birth of 4300 BBY, there have been Jedi Shadows around, and what they do is that they are trained to become nearly impervious to the power of the or influence of the dark side, because their job is to hunt down dark side or Sith artifacts from the Great Hyperspace War, and take out basically any cults that may have formed around those artifacts that may be worshipping them, and disband them and stuff like that. So Jedi Shadows, they're still around in the prequel era, if I'm not if I can remember correctly. But yeah, I love Jedi Shadows. They're just like one of the most interesting sects of the Jedi. They're not Guardians with their blue blades, not Consulars with their green blades. They're their own thing. And I thought it was cool that I could create a character as a Jedi Shadow. Now, he did hunt down those Sith artifacts all the way up until around 4,270 BBY. So he had a good 3-year stretch of just doing his own thing, hunting down artifacts. He was very successful, bringing them back to the Jedi Temple, for cleansing or for storing, whatever they needed to do. But he ended up going along with a Jedi strike team. All right, this is my favorite part of the story, because it involves my favorite Sith Lord of all time, Freedon Nadd. Yes, Freedon Nadd. I know a few people like Brainbusters and Zykin, they're probably just rolling their eyes because I just love Freedon Nadd so much. And my shadow hand, shout out to you, Darth Eternus. I know you're probably rolling your eyes as well. But yes, this is his main accolade out of all of them, besides collecting dark side artifacts and things like that. This is the main thing he did, was that he was part of the Jedi strike team that went in, and they didn't even know Freedon Nadd was a Sith Lord. They just thought he was a dark Jedi. But they were able to take them down, Orin Brock giving the final blow, but he was fatally wounded in the battle, and he passed away shortly after, to keep it YouTube friendly. And at that time, because he had vanquished, a powerful dark Jedi, and because of all the things that he had done with his time being a Jedi Shadow, collecting these dark side artifacts, which ultimately led him up to finding out about Onderon and things like that, and what was going on there. Yeah, they made him a Jedi Master, and that was pretty much the end of his tale. All right, Orin Brock with the Sun Viper Lightsaber, which you're now going to see me mess around with. All right, so, so that just happened. Take 2, clap. All right. Which now that you're going to see me mess around with. Yeah, there we go. I made it. All right. See, most people would just start the video over. But, I mean, I make mistakes all the time. I don't really care. I'm just here to have fun. I'm glad you guys are here. And I hope that you're having fun with this Sun Viper lightsaber. Let's get to it, all right? So this thing is pretty light. Probably a little over a pound, to be honest. Love it. Power this off real quick. What was I saying? Yeah, so it weighs probably about like, I would say maybe 1.3 pounds at the most. That's being generous. All right. Because, you know, this is all metal and stuff like that. So that's where most of the weight comes into play. And then the blades are made of polycarbonate, but this is the mid-grade blade, so it's a lot lighter than the heavy-grade blades, which some of them I have behind me. Yes, I can point them all out. Haha. All right. But yeah, man, just, and not even, you don't even have to do it to the face, you know? You just come across like their body, you know, and then it's just, everywhere. Just everywhere. Just ripped right open. Man. But yeah, this thing it's pretty easy to handle. As you could tell, I was, you know, jumping around a little bit. Let's keep going. Do some OBNs. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Bow again. Or I will bow to you. Sorry. Ooh, let me get some water real quick. Alright, let me show you guys the saber again. The Sun Viper Lightsaber. Of course, I'm going to take a picture, leave it in the thumbnail for you guys. Just love it. Love it. Thank you. Alright, so that'll do it. Yeah, I know this video went on for a while. I do apologize for that. But yeah, that'll do it for today's video. I'm Darth and Magnus. May the Force be with you, and may that balance keep you, my friends. You guys take care, and I will see you in the next video.